Hello, 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 everybody. How are you doing? We are literally going live tonight. I got some updates to give y'all, some great and wonderful updates. So give me a minute. You know how we do. We go on the different stations to see the different streaming channels to see is it going live. Give me a minute to make sure I get everything on my end in place, y'all, because I am truly excited about what God is doing in this moment in our lives, Father God. Like, y'all, I'm so excited. So come on in, share with a friend, and just let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Because the only way this is gonna work is we all in this together, right? We are all in this together. So you guys, I'm ready and I'm excited and we're about to move forward, right? Because how's this gonna go? Y'all, I went to the ER today. That let's just start with that, right? I went to the ER today, and y'all, it was woo. Hold on, give me a minute. I'm coming. Let's get started. Let's get in there. Let's get it, get it, get it. Y'all, I went to the ER today. Let's get it started that way, like, right? And I went because this morning let's start with yesterday morning. I woke up, I had these bad back pains. And so because of that, I literally was like, I need to, like, this morning it was bad, y'all. It was like I have never felt pain like that in my life. And I have had three children. I literally have had three kids. And so I get my oldest son and my middle son. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go to the ER. Can you take me? The pain is so bad that my son has to pull over so I can vomit. Like, that's how bad the pain was in my belly on my left side. It was so bad. It was excruciating. So my husband comes, he gets me. We go to the ER so my son can go to school. And we're in there. And I mean, y'all, I have never felt pain like this, right? And what I want to talk about is how God speaks to you in the midst of the pain, right? How God speaks to you in the midst of the trial. How God speaks to you before you even complete the journey. Like, God speaks when the waters are being troubled. God speaks when the lack is there. God speaks. Why? Because he want to let you know that you are not by yourself. So today, downstairs, this morning before I even got to the ER, and I'm sitting there. I have an event that's coming up Saturday. And so the pain is so bad, you guys, and I'm sitting there and God begins to ask me the question, how is a pearl created? Now, many of you don't know, but the event is called Denim and Pearls, right? And he begins to ask me, how is a pearl created? So I'm like, wait a minute, God, like, and I started laughing because in my inside, because I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm praying to you about this healing, about this miracle that I need because I don't understand what this pain is. And you're asking me, how is a pearl created, right? So as I'm going on, as things are going on and everything, and I'm just like, you know what, God? Only you can do what needs to be done, right? So how are we going to do this? How are we going to get it to what we need to get it? How are we going to do what we need to do? Like, God, I need all of you. I need your help. And so he begins to, I go upstairs because at this point, hold on. At this point, I don't know what else to do. At this point, I don't know where else to go, but I'm gonna go upstairs because he asking me a question. So I begin to look up and see about pearls. Now I want y'all to understand this. Pearls are created when an oyster is aggravated. The sand get in there and start agitating it, and then it begins to do this thing. It does this coating thing, right? And then you get a pearl. Literally, you get a pearl, right? It begins to create something in the midst of the aggravation, right? So in the midst of the situation, in the midst of what you're going through, something is being created that God may be glorified. It don't matter how aggravating it is. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. But when God is done, people will see the beauty of it. Right. And a lot of times they got to dig deep. They got to dive deep to get to the beauty of the thing that is needed. Right. And they don't know what you went through. They don't know the aggravation that you went through. They don't know that the headache that you went through. But what they do know is that they see this thing manifesting. Right. They see this thing going, they see it. And so God is talking to me while I'm in pain, while I'm in the midst of this, while I'm being aggravated to the point to where I'm about to cry, tears are about to fall off, right? Oh, fall off. But before I forget, Samantha is actually being interviewed tonight on the show. I can't remember the name, but once I look it up, I'm gonna tell you guys the name. It's gonna be on Roku tonight. So that's the only reason she's not here, baby. Because when miracles speak, a lot of times, baby, we gotta go where we gotta go to give our testimony. And so we're right now praying God's blessings and everything over her. So I forgot to do that in the beginning of the show. Hey Samantha, we're proud of you, girl. So as you're in this situation, as the pain begins to get so aggravating, I'm like, okay, I gotta go to the ER. So now I'm in so much pain that I have to vomit, right? So again, all of this, God has given me revelation as I'm going through this. See, the revelation don't come after. A lot of times you get the revelation, you get the understanding, you get the impact it's going to have while you're in it, right? Like a cake is not finished being baked when it's out the oven. It's inside the oven. The process takes place. It needs the heat to create the very thing that you want. To get the outcome that you need, you have to put it in the oven. You can sit it on the counter, but if you don't bake it, if the heat is not applied, you're not going to get what you want. You're just going to get the dough. So as I'm vomiting, I realize the pain is causing such aggravation that it's making me sick that I have to bring up. Now, mind you, ain't nothing in there. So it's just like fluid, I think water or something. And it's like, but once I got it up, I felt better. So now my husband gets me to the ER and I'm talking to the guy and I'm telling him the situation. And the guy begins to tell me, this sounds like, just casual conversation. This sounds like this could possibly be a kidney stone. I'm looking at him like, he's asking me questions. Now, normally when I'm in pain, my blood pressure is extremely high. My blood pressure was like 120 over 70. He was like, that's perfect. And I'm staring like, sir, I don't even understand how you saying this to me. I am in pain to the point to where walking is an issue. While I get there and I get in the bed and I'm laying there and the pain is like pulsating through my body. I'm laying there. And I literally tell the nurse, I say, ma'am, I'm going to be angry for a little bit. I say, it's not nothing personal. And she literally says, I understand. Then God begins to tell me the inner pain is causing the outward anger. So I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what are we doing? What are we talking about here, God? Like, what are you actually 100% saying to me? The inner pain is causing the outward anger? Like, how is this? What are we doing? And so God begins to literally, while I'm in pain, y'all, they ain't gave me no pain medication. They still don't know what's wrong with me. They still waiting on the test to come back from when you have to, use the restroom in the cup. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're waiting on all these things. And God is talking while I'm in pain, while I'm aggravated, while I don't want to hear nobody say nothing to me. Just give me something to release this. And then the nurse come in and clearly you can help me, but she said, I can't give you anything right now because I got to know what's wrong with you. We got to get the labs back and we have to be released to give you the medicine. So they could hear me moaning and groaning. They could hear me, y'all. I was loud. I was in so much pain. It was like I was having, oh my God, all kind of pain. So if you ever had a baby, contractions, labor pains, all these pains were taking place. And God want to talk to me now. While I'm trying to figure out what's going on with me, God is having a full conversation about the inner pain that we think we're hiding, but the outer anger that is manifesting. When that thing agitates you so bad because you just got to get it out, but you don't know how to articulate it because you're hurting on the inside. So some of you are hurting so bad because you think nobody sees it. And a lot of times you're like, nobody won't help me. It's because they don't have all the information. So you can't receive any help. Because she was like, we can't just give you any type of pain meds. We want to know exactly what we're targeting. We want to know exactly what it is. Ma'am, you got the authority to give me some medicine. You give me some Tylenol, you give me some ibuprofen, you give me something. And she said, no, I couldn't. And as she's talking to me, God is talking to me. As I'm in this moment, while I'm in the ER, why I need help. See, a lot of times we don't want to go to God because, see, that's the ultimate source. We don't want to go to him when we need him. We don't want to go to him. No, we want to go to everybody else. See, because when you get to the ER, you got to sign in with the person. Then you got to tell that person what's wrong with you. Then the nurse gonna come in. You got to tell her what's wrong with it. But she ain't really got as much authority as the doctor got. But then you got to turn around and tell the doctor what's wrong with you. And then from that, the doctor will send you where you need to go. That's how this works. So even the one, like you keep saying, I got, what the Bible say, you can't get to the Father except through me. So the Son, no, you got to come to him. Right? So as I'm in pain, y'all, I need you to understand this just happened today. As I am in pain in the ER, God is releasing his word. He's releasing his wisdom. He's releasing his knowledge. And he begins to tell me that my inward pain will manifest the outward anger. That's where a lot of us are sitting at. You're hurting on the inside. You're injured on the inside. You released it. You bombed it. You done this. You're trying to figure out how to subside the pain, but it's been agitated. Remember, in the beginning of this, I told you, God told me to find out how is a pearl made. The oyster is aggravated by the dirt. So the dirt begins to start the whole situation. Tisha, how did you get to this place? The dirt started aggravating me. Things started being on me, and I started not me, God started coding me. The molestation, the rape, the violation, the anger, the bullying, all that, the learning disability. God was crafting something in the midst of the pain. However, what he does not want us to do is release it in anger. Release it from that place. See, I can release it, but it don't have to come out in anger. What's happening is you have not acknowledged, you have not addressed the inward pain. You have not acknowledged or addressed that this is where you at. And some of you understand, just saying it is not the same as acknowledging it and accepting it. Acceptance is receiving. Acknowledge is verifiable. I'm acknowledging that this happened to me. Once you embrace that thing, that's you bringing it in, and it's going to hurt again. But now you have to release it. So the more and more I started realizing that this is what God was saying. Now, mind you, the whole time I'm in here and in pain, not one time did it dawn on me that, hey, you know what, this could be it. Like nothing fearful came about this situation. Nothing where I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. None of that kind of stuff. And I'm in pain. You guys, I am in the ER moaning and groaning extremely loud. And the doctor had not come yet. The physician's assistant had not come yet. And they still wanted me to do some things. They still needed me to urinate in this cup. They still needed me to tell them the level of pain I was at. Because again, see, this is the thing about communication, because God understands communication. He says, come unto me who is heavy laden and I'll give you rest. You going to a whole bunch of people. God said, come to him. Talk to him, release what it is. Tell him, God, I'm lacking this. God, I'm lacking that. God, I need this. God, I'm afraid of that, but you won't do it. See, it aggravates me a lot of times because I had to tell this person, but that's how God operates. Communicate your issue. Communicate what is going on. Communicate what is wrong. Don't just be like, oh, so-and-so hurt my feelings. No. What really triggered you? What really is the cause of that pain? Because sometimes you don't know it until you release it. Sometimes you have no clue why you're angry until you release it. And it ain't just because so-and-so said such and such. No. There's a root there. See, I was in there because I had this agonizing pain, but it was something in my back that was causing the pain. So I had to keep repeating it. And as I repeated the story to each person that kept asking me, that had the authority, so I thought to do something, but really they were just gathering information. Because now I tell my story, it does not shift, it does not change. This is what's wrong with me. It started here, boom, there, and this is where we're at today. And y'all, I'm telling you, as God literally continued to talk to me in the midst of the pain. Like, how many of you understand that? That's like, because we're our most vulnerable in that moment. We ain't going nowhere. He know we ain't going nowhere because we're hurting. And it's more, the more detail you give, the more accurate what you need can be done. But God is the one that you need to be 100% accurate with. See, it wouldn't have been no need for me to go to a dentist. I was not having teeth pain. I was having stomach pain. And as I sit there and I'm waiting, y'all, and I'm waiting and I'm moaning, and then I'm getting so angry and I'm getting so mad because they hear me. They could not necessarily see me because I was behind the thing, but they hear me. They hear the pain that I'm in. They hear the pain that I'm in. Then finally, the PA comes in, the physician's assistant, and she asks me the same question that the person asked me when I came in here, that the nurse asked me, and now she asking me the same thing. Now, ain't y'all clicking in this thing? But I'm agitated because by now I'm tired of telling y'all the same thing. And as I begin to tell her, nobody's telling me what the analysis of the like what happened, the urinalysis that came back. They're not saying anything, but I'm thinking I got a really bad blood infection. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm sitting there and she's talking to me, and as she's talking, I'm getting more and more aggravated. I almost don't want to hear nothing else that she got to say because the pain was so excruciating. And then she said, okay, well, now I know what it is. I'm going to call it in to get you a prescription. Now that you've been clear enough, now that I've laid eyes on you, now that I see, now that I understand, I still can't do nothing about this pain. I got to prescribe something for you. But now I know what to prescribe because I got the urinalysis, so I see what's going on. And on top of that, I hear you. So then she goes back out and she closes the screen, like she closes the thing. And then now they hear me moaning. Now they hear me. But in the midst of my pain, I start hearing things over the PA. I start hearing them say, we need like someone is stroke, like coding, like you're hearing all this stuff. So this is another, as I'm sitting there, God said, you have to remember that even though you're going through, somebody else is going through far more than you. And then the example he gave me, it was on his on his way to Damascus. As he was there were even more and more people that was pulling on him, and he was stopping to do what he needed to do with them because they were pulling. However, he was still coming to you. See, she said, I had to go to the other side. That's what the PA told me, because it was somebody more critical. But because of my pain, I was agitated. Because of, what do you mean she's more critical than I am? You don't even know. The pain I feel is on a 25, okay? I had 3 kids natural, y'all, no medicine. And this pain I felt was worse than that. And I wanted to vomit. And then I'm getting the chills. And then I want to sweat. And you telling me that it's somebody more critical than me. And because of my pain, I don't want to hear that. Because of my disposition, I don't want to hear that. I think you need to come straight here, directly to me. And then you get agitated. But because I was in a state, I can't go nowhere. See, sometimes we get so aggravated with God, we go and try to get the answers from somewhere else. No, stay there. He coming. He heard you. He know you there. He know you're in your ER state. But some of you won't stay long enough. You won't be still, right? I couldn't go nowhere. I could barely even walk. And again, this happened this morning. This ain't something that happened. No, this was this morning. So as I'm sitting there, and then I am literally moaning loud, like I don't even know, y'all. I have a high tolerance for pain, and this was taking me out. And as I'm laying there and I'm telling my husband, can you check, babe? Can you see if somebody coming, babe? Is somebody coming? Is somebody on their way? Because that's how we get that expectation. I told God, he can't know. He said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. God is always on time. He ain't never late. He's always on time. So these are the things we have to remember, right? Like I need y'all to put that in y'all Rolodex. And I'm in pain. And then I know something is coming, but I keep sending my husband out to check for it. I keep saying, babe, is she coming? Babe, is the nurse coming? Can you go check to see if the nurse coming? Is they coming? And then finally somebody come in. I don't know what she said. I don't know if she said, we getting it, we're calling it in. So I got really excited because now the pain is going to be released. And see, this is the thing. Just because the pain's about to be released does not mean I got the answer. It just means I got the treatment. Right? I'm telling you again, while in pain, God gave this to me. God gave this revelation to me. And so even as I'm sitting there and I'm trying to understand where I'm at, like, babe, is she coming, y'all? And it seemed like it took about another 2 hours, but it really didn't take that long, right? It really did not. And then they come in and they're saying, well, based off the moaning, because this is what the nurse said. And based off how we hear this sounds like you're having a kidney stone. This sounds like it's a kidney stone. You could tell that based off how I'm moaning, based off how you hear me cry out. And again, that was just based off that, but they couldn't do nothing until the doctor released them to do so. They could only do so much. They couldn't touch it. They could only do it. And as I'm sitting there, I hear her say, yeah, that's what it sounds like, based off my moaning, y'all. Based off, literally, I'm in there and I'm in pain, in agony. And they say, based off, and what do when people see you or they hear you in pain? But there's nothing that they can really do. They can just simply diagnose, right? Like, I know so-and-so struggling, that she going through something, and because you told them, but they weren't in a position to give you the money that you desired or that you needed. They weren't in a position to give, because they were not able to release it just yet, because there was a higher authority. Some of y'all keep going to people because you say, I know they can help me. And God is like, yeah, they can, but I'm locking their hands right now because they can't do it because it's all me. I need you to get the proper diagnosis. I need you to heal, because what's manifested is the anger of the pain from what's going on in your now or in your past. So as she's talking to me, God is literally giving me the revelations and giving them to me and giving them to me. And as he's talking to me, I'm not going to lie, I was getting aggravated, because I say, does he not understand that I am in pain? But he kept talking, y'all. And as he talked, I literally was in so much pain at one point that I got sleepy. How is that even possible? How do you fall asleep in the midst of that type of pain? I literally told my husband I feel sleepy, because now I got to rest in him. Now I got to understand that I don't want to be angry anymore. I don't like this. I'm mad. My husband was trying to help me. I wanted him to touch me, but I didn't. The nurse trying to get, because the pain is unbearable at this point, because I don't know what's going on. I literally feel like I'm going to have a baby. I'm a vomit. I'm sweating. I don't understand where I'm at. And I told my husband, I said, I'm starting to get mad. It's hurting so bad. And that's where some of you are at right now. The pain of your past, the trauma of your past is what people are seeing. The anger, the depression, the anxiety, a lot of that stuff stems from your past. It's reflecting out because you ain't sit long enough to get a full detail. I couldn't go nowhere. I had no choice. And so then the nurse comes in and she gives me the medicine. She gives me what I need without a diagnosis. She has not diagnosed it yet. They just sent off what they needed, but she did not give me the diagnosis yet. She just gave me the pain medicine. And I said, well, ma'am, I said, well, what? She said, listen, Miss Anderson, she said, just based off some things, we don't know. This is not a diagnosis. This does sound like it's kidney stones. She said, that's what it sounds like. So what we're giving you is the one thing that we need to give you that treats that type of pain. Now, I need y'all to hear this, because some of y'all grabbing for anything. It's not treating the pain. Some of y'all are consuming yourselves with alcohol and drugs and all type of different activities to numb it, but it's not dealing with the actual pain. They could have gave me a whole lot of different meds, but they wanted to give me the one that would target what was really going on in my body, because I could not see. All I could do was feel it. Some of y'all run into anybody with a title thinking that they're equipped to help you, and they're not. They're just giving you what they think is going to work. It's a cookie cutter, one size fit all. It's not. That don't work for everybody. Just because that worked for that person does not mean that that's going to work for me. So I have to literally sit still long enough to get the requirement, the required pain medication, the thing that is actually going to work. And remember, because you got the pain medication does not mean you got the diagnosis yet. Does not mean that. It just relieved the tension. And as soon as the pain was gone, like within 5 minutes, the pain started like subsiding and going away. And as soon as that pain was lifted, soon as it went, my attitude changed. I wasn't mad no more. I felt like I was myself. I felt like I had did what I needed to do. I was like, oh, I like this. And then I went to sleep, not in sleep in the pain, but I was taking a little nap while the pain was gone. And God began to deal with me even in that. He said, the reason that you are able to rest in the midst of this pain is the same way. Because you know how some people, you be like, how you going to rest and all hell breaking loose on all sides? I had gotten to a place where ain't nothing I could do about this. I'm just have to trust him. So I started focusing and praying, like really being intentional about what I was believing God for in that moment. And in that moment, I was believing God that he would expose what the injury was, what was really going on. I needed clarity as to what was going on in my body that was causing so much pain. So then I take the medicine. And then what they do now, I took the medicine. I was in there for a while. And then they come and get me to give me a CAT scan. So now we're going to get an even more in-depth look at to what's really going on. See, that's how God operates. He does things in decency and in order, but a lot of times we're ready to rush, and sometimes we won't sit still until it's something major. See, if my stomach had not done what it done, and I just had a little pain in my back, I would have kept going. I would have never went to the ER. Some of you will never go to God, but you'll go when it gets dramatic, because that's when he can get you in a place to hear you. That's when he can get you in a place to give it what it is that you need. And because when you're in such pain, it's hard to lie. Like I'm gonna tell you exactly everything. This when the pain started, this how it got. No, because I need a proper diagnosis. I don't want no any kind of diet. I need what's really going on. So I'm laying there on the scan, and as I'm laying there to get the CAT scan, they tell me to inhale, like right, and they're seeing what I can't see. They're examining what I can't examine. And that was that one moment when I was laying there and God was like, inhale. That's you holding on to that stuff. And then as I got out, the little thing over the thing say, now release. So I exhale. And when you give it to God, that's how it is. When you get in that moment, you get silent and you give it to him, and you were like you're holding it in. And God is scanning it so you can get the proper diagnosis. So you can get the proper medication, so you can get the proper treatment, so you can get the proper relief. But by the time I had got on the x-ray thing, the pain was already subsiding. So now they're scanning. The scan come in. So now at the hospital, they do this new thing where you ain't got to sit in the room. They take you in this other little waiting area until you get your scans, because you know CAT scans can take a while. And so I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, but I'm feeling better because I'm no longer in the pain. See, I couldn't get clear clarification until I wouldn't be able to even listen to her, really, to be honest, if I was still in pain. So by the time she got in there, somebody else had to explain to her what was going on. See, because it's stages. God's about order, like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. That's how this thing worked. Somebody who I had never saw my insides, saw my scans, and was able to read them accordingly, and was able to read them accurately, and was able to say, this is this. Now, I went through all of that to find out that I had a kidney stone, but that's not the thing. Some of us are agitated and aggravated, and it's causing so much pain. And this thing is only like 3 milliliters. It's not even millimeters. It's not even that big. And it literally made me feel like I was going to go into labor. It caused me so much distress that it caused me to vomit, that it caused me to shake, that it caused me to sweat. And sometimes you got to look at the very thing that has caused so much damage, and it's minute. But if it goes unattended, because what she was telling me is that evidently it's been there because there was a lot of calcium or something on it. I didn't understand it, but it was a lot of calcium on it. So she said that one may not even be easy to break up. You may have to have them come in. No, that won't be easy to pass. You may have to come back and let somebody, I guess they break them up so you can pass them. I don't know. Don't quote me. Right? And I began to think like, man, like I got the diagnosis and I want to do it the natural way. But what you telling me, and it's like God says sometimes we give so much authority unintentionally because of where it's sitting at. Because the thing that did it, even though it may seem minute to others, it's because it's agitating the thing. And that's what's happening with some of us. These things are in there that we don't even know are in there. I didn't know that thing was bad. I did not even know that. I ain't had no clue. But the truth of the matter is my back had been hurting me. Truth of the matter is there were things that were going on, and I was just like, I would have never went to the ER had it not got extreme. And I want y'all to take this moment and ask yourselves, what are you overlooking in your life? Because I'm telling you, you don't want to get where I was. You don't want to get to that place where now you have no choice. See, you got to get in a position where you take everything to God. Take everything to him. That's his position. He said, I'm not going to leave you comfortless. You got the Holy Ghost. You got somebody making intercession for you. However, you're not doing what you need to do. You're going to everybody else. Come unto me, who is heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. He gave me clarity. He gave me insight. And I remember laying there thinking, now I got an event on Saturday, Lord. I can't. And when they said kidney stones, I looked at my husband. I said, "Babe, I can't have no surgery. I got to go. I got an event on Saturday, right? I got to do my father's business." Through all of that, through all of this, I go to the restroom and I come back, and God tells me to pray for somebody. Bruh, I'm trying to get myself together. What you mean pray? I go back, I ignore it. I go back to my room and I hear him loud as day. Go and pray for her. So I go back to her. She's in tears. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know nothing. And I said, is it okay if I pray with you? She was by herself. And I said, is it okay if I pray with you? And she was like, yes. And I began to pray with her. And God began to give me the words to relieve because I couldn't do it. So what happens is, see, I came and I got my answer. My answer was not as severe. But somebody else went and got an answer and it was detrimental. See, that's how we have to understand. We want everything to be happy-go-lucky. But we're all on this journey together. But we're not all on the exact same journey. We're all trying to get somewhere. We're all trying to be somewhere. We all want to embrace something. And yet we have to understand that there are stages to this thing. Don't get angry with God because he didn't come like that. Because on his way to Damascus, he kept getting stopped because there were others. But he still was willing to come to you. He's on his way. And some of your faith is going to be shifted to the point where you're going to say, you ain't even got to come here. Just send the word. Ain't that what the soldier said? Hey, I know you a man of authority. You don't even have to come to me. Just send the word. What we have, some of us are not in that stage. I need you to come. I need to touch you. Like the woman, she had to touch the hem of his garment so she could be made whole. Like when you understand how miracles operate, a lot of people can't, like in those moments of pain, sometimes you just got to get quiet and see what God is saying. All that revelation I just gave y'all happened in the ER in the midst of the pain. He was talking in the midst of that. Now, when I was going through all that stuff, the violations, the rapes, the abuse, and all this stuff, I can't tell you if God was speaking then. A lot of the revelation came after, but the peace was while I was in it, because there are a lot of people who went through what I went through, and they took their lives, or they lost their minds, or that it didn't know it, but there was a peace that surpassed that He would give me, not knowing that my pain would be somebody else's release. My pain will be somebody else's empowerment. And that's why you have to be careful that your pain does not reflect anger. You got to work on that thing. You got to keep going to God until you get that right medication, that right thing that is going to do what needs to be done. And the right medication is God, is Jesus, is walking holy and acceptable. And it's not wavering. And whatever instructions He give you, do it to the fullest, because this is where you mess up at. Now, I got some medication I got to take for 14 days, not 7 days, not 3 days, not when I need to. It's not PRN, take as needed. It's 14 days. I have to take it. God has given many of you instructions, and you have not done it. God told you to fast, a real fast, and you have not done it. God told you to separate yourself and set yourself aside, and you have not done it. Some of you are causing more injury because you have not done what you were instructed to do. And in order for you to get where you need to be in God, you're going to have to be able to tell yourself, okay, where do I go from here? What is God telling you? Last week, I think I told you I was in the car having a temper tantrum. And as God was giving the revelation, I was getting the revelation to sugar be still. He gave me the answer. I still have things that God has assigned me to do. And this is what I understand. You're going to do them regardless, because you have an assignment. And so what am I talking about today? Yeah, I went to the ER. I think that's how I titled it. I went to the ER. But God gave me a revelation in the midst of the pain. He gave me a word in the midst of the pain. He used that moment that I had to learn how not to just be thinking about me, because where I was at, it's a lot of other people that was more critical than me. That lady's situation was worse than mine. I don't even know what it was. But God told me to pray for her. He didn't tell me to prophesy and lay hands, none of that stuff. He said, just release the word. the peace that she needs to know that she's not by herself. In the midst of me trying to get better, in the midst of me healing, but the pain was gone. See, that's the part y'all need to understand. By the time I got there, I was no longer in pain. I had took the med. They had given me medicine. So that way she didn't see me in my anger, right? And some of you don't even know why you're lashing out, why you're so angry, why you're so bitter, why you're so sad. Why? Listen, that's the pain. And the pain is manifesting some things that God does not want it to manifest. But that's because we're holding on to the pain. Oh, and another revelation he gave me. So I was sitting there because I had my knees up to my stomach. That's how bad I was in pain, right? And I was just trying to press it down. And God said, take your legs down because you got to release it. You're still holding on to it. Release it. Some of y'all are holding on to the pain so tight. You're the reason it's still hurting. Release that thing. Let it go. The position that you're in is causing more damage. Release it and let it go. Like, guys, when I tell y'all that going to the ER today shifted everything, like, God gave me so many words in the midst of literally 100% being in pain. Like, I don't know how many of y'all have ever had a kidney stone, but baby, let me tell you something. That was worse than having kids. And when they came back and told me it wasn't like a bunch of them, that it was one, and it was like 3 millimeters. I think I'm saying that right. That little thing, and she was like, it's like right in your back. What? And then in the midst of all that, now because I'm going for the pain, they done scanned everything. So now they say, oh yeah, and by the way, there's this. See, because a lot of times, warning to come. So there are other things that I have to address. They were like, yeah, we seen fibroids, and then we seen the cyst. Like, again, none of this stuff is major at this moment. But I know people who get fibroids and then they become a problem. So I began to thank God. I didn't say, oh, the devil is a liar. No, I said, Lord, I thank you for exposing it, because I never would have knew it was there. I never would have known they were in there had the pain not been around that area. Had I not been and got a scan, had I not went to the proper place to get what I needed done, but had I not been agitated to the point of pain and anger, I would not win. And some of us, that's the thing. God don't want to have to keep doing that, but some of us are like that. We ain't gonna go check on ourselves until it's dramatic, and now we're gonna go. No, give that thing to God. What is he telling you? Like, y'all, when I say I feel 100 times, baby. And then I remember telling my husband, I said, now, do you think God had this happen to me? Because I got to release this? Like, what? I don't get it. I was texting my friend Samantha, Samantha. I was texting her. I said, Samantha, I feel like he going to give me something. What? But who knew it was for you guys? It was for you guys. Release it. You're holding on to that pain, and that pain is manifesting anger. Release it. Get somewhere. Talk to somebody. Get some counseling. Madeline is a therapist. Now, she's not on here tonight, but Madeline is a therapist. You've seen her a couple of times. Find you somebody that can prescribe what needs to be, right? That can give you that place where you can release whatever you're holding on, because that's when the anger shows. That's when the depression shows. That's when the confusion comes up, because you're holding on to a pain, and a lot of people don't see it. They don't understand it. I remember when I was being violated as a kid, they told me, you are angry with somebody. You're ungrateful. You're so mean. Ma'am, sirs, a grown man is laying on top of me having his business, and I don't know how to articulate this, because this man told me that if I tell anybody, my daddy going to go to jail, and it's going to be my fault. Of course I'm angry. Of course there's pain. My innocence has been taken away. Like, sometimes you got to stop before you address what you see. I said this on a podcast. God has anointed me to hear what you don't say. But you know how I'm able to do that? Not just because of the learning disability, but because I know how I felt. Because nobody heard what I was not able to say. Nobody heard what I was not able to articulate. Nobody heard it. All they saw were my actions. All they saw was my bad attitude. And then they didn't even realize I was in depression, because my mouth was so reckless, because I was mean. I was angry. When I tell you guys that violation, molestation, all happened before I even hit kindergarten, these things took place when I was like 2-3 years old. My innocence is being taken. And I don't know what I'm supposed to say or what I'm supposed to do with it. And then it goes from the molestation to the rape aspect of it. Now my innocence is completely being taken away. And now I'm feeling rejected because I can't tell nobody. And then why is the violator picking my cousin who was younger than me over me? Now I'm feeling rejected. All that's pain. And if you don't let God gut you out and relieve the pain to get to the source of the issue, every time we hear and see you, all we're going to hear and see is anger. We don't see the pain. I learned that when my dad was when he was going through and his diabetes would get so bad. My dad was so mean. Oh my God. He was already a mess, but he was goofy. But my dad, towards the end, oh my God. And the nurse had to tell me that's because he's in pain, in constant pain. And some of us have been through so many traumatic things that the pain has become a part of our life. Go to the ER. That's me telling you to go to God. Go to God. Get yourself around some people who are equipped with the tools to give you the truth, that they're not just going to give you anything. They're going to say, we need the full details. What is going on? What is happening? And begin to articulate it. And what they're going to do is they're going to get in agreements with you, and they're going to come together, because the Bible said, with 2 or 3 are gathered in his name. So when I say get you some equipped people, I'm talking about those that are believers in him. And then y'all all going to go to the Father. Why not? Because the nurses, they had the authority to give it to me, but they couldn't give it to me until the one above them said it was okay. Get your group together. When I was literally in pain this morning, I text Samantha and said, sorry for waking you up, girl, but I need you to pray. I had a coaching session at 8:00. I said, oh Lord. I said, Madeline called me, and I said, Madeline, right now, I need you to pray. And she began to do that. And the more and more that you understand that God got you in such a way that you cannot allow things to like aggravate you. You got to get in that position. So once I got them to, and I had messaged Pastor Betsy and my mama, because you know I'm called mom, right? I had got people in position that were equipped to do what I needed done. And that's pray. Because they didn't have the answer that I needed. They didn't even have the tools I needed. They didn't even have the medicine I needed. But they knew who to take it to. They knew how to get me there. And so the more and more you begin to understand this thing, the more you begin to say, wait a minute. A lot of you are in the ER and you don't even realize it. But you're trying to leave too early because you agitated. I was ready to go. I'm not going to lie. Lady, stop talking to me. I'm hurting. And you asking me the same questions that Earl don't ask me when I walked in here. What do you mean? My story is not going to change. But sometimes repeating the story causes other things to come to your remembrance. Everybody's not authorized to treat your condition. That's why they have general surgeons in the ER, and then they have specialists. Some of you need the specialists. Again, God is ultimately above everything. But then there are those that are assigned to deal with that particular situation. And you keep going to anybody with a title. Yeah, I went to the doctor. I went to the hospital. It's doctors in there. But depending on what it was, a certain doctor had to look at the x-ray, the CAT scan, to actually say what was going on. The spleen is okay. This is okay. The kidney is okay. The liver is okay. But this is where the issue was at. And that is where the kidney stone sits in my bag. Agitating me. And it had been there, clearly. Because that's what they said. Girl, this thing got it. The lady was saying this has a lot of calcium around it. That's what she kept saying. What I told y'all in the beginning about that pearl. How you get a pearl? Because it gets agitated. The sand gets in it and it starts putting something around it. And I was like, wait, God, what are we doing here? So some of you are in the healing process and you don't realize it because you got conditioned to the pain. Let me explain to you how dangerous, not even how impactful pain can be. My grandfather had neuropathy because he was a diabetic. So he had constant pain. Then they cut his legs off at the knees. And even after they cut the legs off, y'all, guess what? Y'all know this. He still felt the pain. When you dealt with something so long, even after the situation has been removed, your mind and your body are constantly still there. So even after I had done tucked the I didn't even want to eat. I was scared to eat because my stomach was like, I was like, oh, my stomach gonna start like hurting. And in my mind, my stomach did start by hurting. But if y'all know me, y'all know I like to eat. So I was gonna eat, right? But nonetheless, where are you at in this journey? In your truth? Because that inner pain is causing that outward anger, that outward rage. Yep, that's what it's called, phantom pain. Thanks, Sheila. That phantom pain, and some of us are operating in the phantom pain. You've been healed, delivered, and set free. The person is gone, but you're still dealing with the phantom pain, and the phantom pain can be as real as the actual pain. My grandfather would go to grab it. Ain't no leg there, ain't nothing there. What do you, sir? That phantom pain. That name alone is powerful right there. Because some of you are operating in that. And so we're seeing the actual anger, and you're dealing with the phantom pain of your past, the phantom pain of your trauma, the phantom pain. Like you're dealing with those things because you have yet to acknowledge that the very thing that was there that caused the injury is gone. The very thing that caused the pain is actually gone. The pain was in his legs. His legs were gone. Now, what caused the neuropathy and all that kind of stuff, that was the diabetes. He had to change how he eat. But the actual place where the pain sat was gone. And yet that phantom pain was so real that you couldn't tell him it was gone. He would go to grab it. Like I'm sitting here, I'm asking God, okay, like, so how do we get, okay, Tisha, so how do we get this? I'm telling y'all, whatever instructions that God gave y'all, and then there are some instructions people don't get. One of the medications people told me to take, and I read them constructions, that's instructions. And I said, I'm not taking this. I'm not going to take nothing where I literally see the word death. I'm not taking this, right? So, and again, they don't say I got to take it, but I think I start taking it once. That if when the stone starts passing and that pain comes again, I think that's what I'm supposed to take, because I'm supposed to take for a short period of time. That's another thing. Some of y'all have become addicted to the pain of your trauma because you get high off that temporary satisfaction. So you keep popping it and you keep taking that temporary fix because it brings the attention and the relief all at the same time. So what did I learn from the ER today? That God speaks in the midst of the storm. That God speaks in the midst of the pain. And sometimes we don't want to hear him. I did not. I'm going to be honest. Sir, what are you talking about? I'm hurting. I could barely walk. I had to wake my kids up. I didn't even want to scare them. I was concerned. I was like, I had to call them. I said, hey, I need your help. I called my husband. Well, I didn't. My son called him. He had to come, and now they got to see me. And I'm literally at a music place where I live at, and the door's wide open, and I'm on in the front on the ground in my car, bent over, vomiting, because the pain is just that bad. The pain was so horrific that it caused me to regret. Like I was like, this is deep. Literally, I honestly believe that we are all walking testimonies, right? Because I like what he said. Thank you. Like, to God be all the glory. But I'm sitting there. And again, as I'm vomiting, God is giving me revelation. He talking to me. And I want to go back to this because a lot of people like to be chosen. Like, many are called, but few are chosen, and I'm chosen. When you're chosen, this is what happened. You're in pain and God is talking. When you're chosen, you're in pain and you're realizing that this ain't even got nothing to do with you. Everything to do with him, because he needs you to restore some people. He needs you to speak this word of life into people. He needs you to speak clarity. He needs you to do this. And you're getting all these revelations while you're in pain. When you really go and read the Bible and think about a lot of things, like literally the woman was chosen to give the prophet something to eat or something to drink. Because she had made in her mind, she likes to die. Her and her son. And God was like, oh, that's so cute. But I need you in the midst of you saying this your last to give it to somebody else. See, a lot of times we look at the prophet with the power. But you got to understand, she was chosen. for that. She was chosen. She was in that moment of need. She was in that moment of, I'm going to give up. I don't know what else to do. We about to die. This is it. It is finished. She was in the moment. The prophet came. They were both chosen and designated. We try to put somebody up higher and lower based off their title. No, look at what that lady was able to do in her moment of distress, in your moment of wanting to give up, in your moment of wanting to say, this is it, it is finished, this is the end. And God said, no, it's not. Now I'm gonna tell you, no, it's not, but I'm not even gonna give you no extra food. I just want you to share with somebody that I'm choosing in this moment, because guess what? He's going through too. How does this work? No, but you want to be chosen. It's beyond the title. As God began to elevate me even the more in these moments, I'm going to be very transparent with y'all. When these revelations be coming out my mouth, I'll be like, oh, wow, that was good. I can't act like I've always had it, because what I learned is, in the midst of me going through my miracle journey, in the midst of me going through the 2 surgeries, in the midst of me going through the radiation, in the midst of all of that, when I'm down and God literally was the only person in there, God would send somebody who needed me to encourage them. How am I going to encourage you? And I'm going to go lay on this table and have this radiation go from one side to the other side. And we don't know how this is going to, but I still had to release the word. I had to release it because he knew what was in me, because I was chosen for that. How do you encourage when you're in pain? How do you manage to stay polite and dignified when you're in pain? How was I able to keep saying yes and thank you and apologize, because I felt myself getting angry, but I didn't yell at him? That's that God that comes in and does those things when you yield yourself to him. Some of y'all don't want to yield yourself. You want the benefits, but you don't want the benefactor, or you don't want the one who has the benefits. You just want the benefits. No, this comes with pain. Walking on this journey comes with pain. Walking on this journey doesn't always give you clarity. That I'm going to say that again. He ain't going to always give you an answer. He knew that thing was back there. He been knew I had that kidney stone, but I had to go today, this day. I couldn't go yesterday. I couldn't go the day before yesterday. I had to go today. You know, above all everything, besides the revelation that you guys are getting right now, I had to pray with that lady. And she wasn't there yesterday. She wasn't there the day before yesterday. She was there today. And some of you are going through something not for yourself. When you chosen, you were going through for other people. Jesus was chosen. He didn't go through all that for himself. He went through that for the world, the sins of the world. He was chosen. Abraham ain't go through all that stuff just for Abraham and say, right, he went through that because why? The father told him, look up in the sky, you're going to be the father of many nations. People you ain't never seen are going to, what? Abraham went through some stuff, seen some things, had to be tested in his faith. Why? Not for Abraham, but for us. Like, when you understand, like, you're birthing something that's so much more greater. He birthed nations. How is that even possible? Because he was chosen. Sometimes we look at things on such a, like a, I don't know how to say it, like the scale is like, it's so warped. Like we try to look at godly things from a worldly view. That's it. We can't do that. Because if I would have looked at how I felt today in simple worldly view, I would have missed God telling me what I need to tell y'all. And I would have missed God if I just been focused on myself and not prayed with that lady today. And I still don't know what the issue was. That ain't none of my business. All I was commissioned to do was pray. That's what he told me. That was it. Just pray. And I did that. And in the midst of him giving me answers, that's when I got the revelation that this thing ain't even big. The pain I was in the day, you would have thought, no. This thing is 3 millimeters. I think I'm saying it right. In the midst of my pain, God has given me a word. Why? Because I'm chosen. Many people are called to do a lot of things, but few people are chosen. I am honestly one of the chosen few. That's not an easy title to wear. That's beyond somebody prophesying. That's beyond somebody laying hands. That's walking in his word and being a true manifestation of his word. We can't, me and Samantha can't sit up here talking about when miracles speak and we not miracles. We know we're miracles. We attract other miracles. But in the midst of that, the miracles don't stop just there. Miracles are constant. So once you in that loop and in that zone, it's a constant thing. Do y'all understand? Like, I used to wear my glasses. I'm gonna tell y'all, right? Because I didn't want you guys, because my eye looked funny. Now I'm able to look at myself and not even notice it unless I'm like focused on it. The shifting. That's God. Because as I continue to obey him, he continues to work on a full miracle until I see what it is that he needs me to see. This is a process. Some of y'all need to go back to the ER because you left too early. You discharge yourself. Go in there and wait. And you got to get a team around you. I have a team. Some of you calling people friends, they don't even know how to pray. They don't even know how to talk to God. They don't even believe in the God that you believe in. I'm going to need you to check your surroundings, who you connected to, and not so they can give you the answers of what it is that you need. Like literally, we got a word Wednesday. And God said on Wednesday night, last Wednesday night, that in 3 days you were going to get an answer. That's what he told the church as a whole, that we would get our answer in 3 days. So that meant by Saturday we was going to get an answer. Well, by Saturday, there was a couple of things me and my husband had put up before God, quite a few things. And he gave us an answer to one. But the answer he gave us was not the answer that we wanted. Because we were thinking that there was an error on somebody else's part. The truth is the error was on our part. We overlooked something. And because of that, there's a situation that's this, and God's hand was still in it. But you know what I did? Even though it wasn't the answer I wanted, this is what you do when you're chosen. I said, thank you. And in him giving me the answer, and literally his word was confirmed because it was on the third day. I thanked him because once he gave me the answer, I was relieved from the stress of trying to figure out what to do next. I already knew once he gave me the answer. Sometimes the answer ain't what you want it to be. I had the kidney stone. That's what people say I got. But I didn't have to have surgery. He is God. And then in the midst of that, trying to figure out, okay, what's the natural way we're going to dissolve this? God is going to literally give me revelations through this process. I went in there for one thing, and now they're telling me this is what we see. This is what we see. I'm not rebuking the devil because you showing me what something I would have never knew was in there. No. That means that now I am aware and I can work on the fibroids. You understand what I'm saying? All because I went to the ER today, y'all. All of this that y'all got was because I went to the ER. All of it. I see you, message Sheila. Yeah, to real life in Christ. I went to the ER. All of this came from going to the ER. Now, some of y'all need to look at y'all stories and look at the things that you're going through and see where you can reflect God even the more. What is the story? What is the revelation? What is the empowerment that comes with it? Because see, don't just be looking for power. Power gives you authority over other people. Look for empowerment. Empowerment gives you power over yourself and freedom. That's what you want. You don't want the power. You want the empowerment, because all authority, the word says all authority belongs to God. So y'all, that's it for today. I see a lot of y'all had commented. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Thawana. Thank you, Jose. Oh, Josie, I'm sorry. Y'all don't got my glasses on. Thank you, Amar. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today. Again, Samantha will be with us next week. She's actually doing a TV interview. It's on the Roku channel. And let me see what the name of the show is. Hold on. I want to get it for y'all because we want to support. Hold on. So you can find it on Xfinity, the Afro, and the Roku networks, and it's called is it Sharonda Show? It's SISAUNDRA Show. So that's what she's at tonight. And so again, when miracles speak, that's what we do. I love you guys. So right now I'm going to pray. We're going to do a prayer before we exit. Father God, I come to you as humble as I know how, and I want to say thank you. Thank you for the ER experience that we're all experiencing tonight, Father God. Thank you for the revelation, the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding that only you can give. Thank you for your divine intervention and your divine hands. Thank you for all, Father God, that you're giving to each and every one of us that are on here tonight and those that are going to listen later, Father God. Even those that are not on here, but when they go and tell somebody about it, Father God, that you'll be able to give them the revelation because your word has power. The word of God is life. So in that, Father God, we're going to share this moment. We're going to share our ER moments, and we're going to understand that we're not going to let the inner pain control us with the outward anger. God, we give you all the honor and the glory. And I thank y'all so much for hanging with me tonight. I love you all. And until next week, make it a great day. Make it a great week. And remember that inner pain is causing the outward anger. Release